Mike, you feeling better, worse, or the same about the Canes defensive core going into the season?
Well, I always think that this is the strength of the team. And there's been nothing this offseason really that has changed for me. I think that there's going to be a little bit of let's see. But that being said, I'm going to say it's the same, even though there's two very new faces, even though we saw one a little bit in the postseason last year and Alexander Nikishin getting a bigger role. Anytime you lose veterans like Dmitry Orlov and Brent Burns, and, regardless of what anybody on social media thinks, what they were or how they were in their last few games, they were how they handled themselves off the ice. That's something that Shane and I get to see on a daily basis. And that rubs off on younger players or guys who are coming up or get called up, how you can play with a Brent Burns or watch how he prepared himself for a game. And then Dmitry Orlov, to me, was a consummate professional and a gamer when it came down to it. That said, you get younger, you get a defenseman entering his prime in K'Andre Miller, and you go back to the postseason 2 years ago when the Rangers knocked out the Canes. For my money, K'Andre Miller was the best player on the ice for either team. And, there are things that change. You get paired up with a guy like Adam Fox, and his role has to be different because – Adam Fox, he knows that there's a defensive end. And look, he's won a Norris Trophy, but you're partnered up with him. Fox is going to be the guy who scores. So I like the addition of Miller. I think that this is going to be a Brady Shea 2.0, where he's going to come to Carolina and he's going to excel. And for Alexander Nikishin, I just want to be the one guy to just tell everybody to just calm down and let him become what he is, because everybody is trying to anoint him, this 7 consecutive Norris trophies, which would be phenomenal if he does, but let's just let him play. And the thing is, his size, his maturity, how he can play, and what we've seen in the I know that Shane and I were staying up till 4 a.m. watching the KHL through grainy lenses that seemed like they were filmed off of KGB spy film. But I mean, I like those additions. You get younger, you get bigger, you get more hits, and then of course, what stays from what we saw from last year in Slavin and Chatfield and Goss, Despair, and Walker. I love those 4 guys. That would be a good top 4 in any other team in the league, and you're going to mix and match that. I know I've hogged up all the time, Wilbur, but that's just how I feel about the defense. I feel the same, even though it's different. I feel that it's going to be exactly what it's always been. It's going to be the backbone of the team.
So you're staying the same?
Yeah, it's because I don't. It's not like I feel it's going to be better. I already think that the blue line is its strength, and we can say that it's gotten stronger because maybe it's gotten younger or a little bit faster. But at the same time, you're losing out on, and this from being around those guys. You lose out on some of those experienced players who've been there and done that, have been through it all. So you're trading, I think, on ice. Excitement, and that's the only word I can come up with when you're talking about younger players and what they can do and how dynamic they can be. For older guys who are like, in a game, they're going to be the ones in the locker room or on a shift going, don't worry about that. Play that off. We'll be fine on the next shift. So that's why I'm going to keep it the same. You can be more excited about it. I'm certainly not a downgrade for me.
Yes, no, definitely not a downgrade. I am going to lean more on the better side, and it's purely because of their age and their youth and their excitement. The speed of the game only continues to get faster. And I agree with you. You're going to lose leadership and character inside the locker room with Orlov and Burns going out. But you cannot discount the high skill level and youthful talent that K'Andre Miller and Nikishin bring in. And that's what I'm looking for. I think Nikishin settles in and finds a ton more confidence getting into a regular season than being thrown into a playoff game against the Florida Panthers, without a doubt. And I really feel the trade from New York to Carolina affects K'Andre Miller the exact same way that it affected Seth Jones in going to Florida. He's now going to play on a very responsible, defensive-minded team with 5 other defensemen that are working in the same direction and not have to worry. It was such a, his partners in New York, he was called upon to do almost everything. And I think he's going to find that support here in Carolina. And I think this defensive core is now better than it was last year, moving into game 1.
Yeah, very little. I mean, I was going to lean for better, but there's going to be growing pains. And
Yeah.
we've seen that. So there will be an adjustment period for Miller and for Nikishin, but when they figure it out by the end of the year, it might be
And
better.
I think Miller fills a little bit of a leadership role because of how
Yeah.
long he's been around. And then I almost look to guys, and we know Rod so well where he's going to lean on other guys. Jalen Chatfield is now a leader inside that
Yeah.
locker room on the back end. Sean Walker signed a long-term deal here, 4-year deal. As he got left going into this season, he's here. You have leadership. You have a veteran presence. Goss's Bear's been around. So I really feel, yes, those guys are great people. And we hear Rod talk about it all the time. The parting words that Brent Birds had for the head coach in this organization, you will miss that. You don't replace that type of person, but I really feel this defensive core still has leadership and has a high skill level that is better as the season kicks off.
Zach, where are you landing? Certainly not worse, correct?
No, definitely not. No, I'm agreeing with Shane. It's definitely gotten better, and I think he touched on it. You're talking about guys who are younger, got more probably offensive upside, and probably got a little bit more of the speed too, because Shane said it perfectly. This game keeps getting a lot faster, and you need that quick step. And you kind of saw it, and nothing against Burns or Orlov, but you can tell that the initial first step wasn't really there as it used to be. And Father Time, unfortunately, catches up to everyone. And plus, we all knew after the season, Burns had surgery, and his role was a little bit more different this past season compared to it was before, because before you had Shea and Pesce as your second pair. So you could have used Burns and Slavin a little bit differently. Now you kind of had to rearrange the deck a little bit to be like, hey, this is what we need you to do. So there was a little bit more extra was put on him. But I think while the numbers weren't there, Burns did have some good games. Orlov did have some good games as well. But then you add in Miller and Nikishin, who have that offensive upside, the youth. And the fact that both guys know how to play defense really well. I mean, look at Nikishin. He can shoot and throw hip checks and hit at the right time. And with Miller, you're talking about a guy who had 100 hits last year and over 100 block shots. This guy is probably the most physical one of the Canes have had, and he eats pucks. Like, he is going to add a lot more defensive side to his game. And I think people realize, and Mike said it perfectly too. You're looking at a Brady Shea 2.0 type of story, because coming out of New York, everyone's like, oh, Brady Shea's okay, but he wasn't that guy in New York. Comes to Carolina, boom, there's that switch that flips, because it helps too when you got Slavin at the time, Pesce, and all those guys. And also, don't forget, you've got Tim Gleason as your defense coach. Like, that says a lot when you have a former Cup winner as your defensive coach, along with your head coach, Rod Brind'Amour. That speaks a lot to this team. So I think for the blue line, it's definitely an upgrade in what both guys have said. You are missing a lot out of Burns and Orlov, but you're also getting that very much excitement of what can this defense look like next year, what the 4 you already have, plus the 2 newcomers in their first full season in Carolina. Yeah, there's going to be some growing pains, but I think there's going to be a lot more excitement as the season goes along.
I do just want to jump in, though, because as it was the first weekend of the National Football League, and on social media, nobody overreacts from play to play or quarter to quarter. I just want everybody, if there are those growing pains in October, or adjustment pains, I guess we could call it, I don't want people to sit here and scrap the season because a couple of guys are out of place. And trust me, I'm glad that Richie brought up J.J. McCarthy, because as a Vikings fan, through 3 quarters, everybody was ready to burn the season down as a Vikings fan, and now they're planning the parade. So I just exercise caution, folks. And
Mike, we'll have the couch open. The couch will be open early in October.
Oh man.
I know we're gonna
game 2
is gonna get some work this year, Shane, just so you know.
You guys better start charging double at this rate if it's gonna be that early.
Well, the Bears fan beside me is crying a little on the inside, but we're focused on hockey, and I fully echo what you guys are saying. Again, like, people were ready to throw in the towel at the beginning of last season, so I'm sure with some, like, they're really excited about the start of this one, but those growing pains always hit people a little bit harder when they have high expectations. So, but I fully echo everything that you guys have said. It's we're always going to miss when leadership goes out, but again, you're going to get Miller. You've got the physicality, which is what you were getting from Orlov, but you're going to get a little bit a mix of Shea and Chatty with Miller. You've got the speed, but you've got the physicality. You've got the shot if you need to. And then, everyone's so excited about Nikishin, and he did show what he could do, even, not really knowing the language, not really knowing the system in playoffs. And he had that beautiful pass that made a goal. And that was just like instinct. The guy knows hockey and he knows how to play. You just got to get him into a system and let him learn the new system, which, Rod, we've seen guys come in and very quickly like adapt because Rod just ingrains it with them. And all the guys with them are like, we're all working together. Like, you'll notice if you're not catching up because we're all covering you, but we also all know it takes a second because it's such a heavily defensive game we play. So it's definitely, I think, got better because you've got youth, you've got speed. I'm really excited to see what the different pairings are going to be. If we're going to switch it up, of course, we had Ghost and Walker together, but are they going to get split? How is it going to work? Who's going to move up with Slavin? But I'm excited. The defense is never a spot I fully worry about because the Canes, that's just their identity in such a way that while the offense may come and go, our defense is such our backbone.